Hi and welcome to the Zoe Marley channel, the #1 place for aspiring authors to learn the art of how to tell their story. In today's video, we're going to be talking about point of view and which point of view you should have in your novel. Today, we're going to be focusing on fiction writing, and we will be going through what I believe is the most inefficient point of view to the most efficient point of view. So first, let's talk about second person point of view. This is something that I have rarely seen in fiction writing, and it's pretty much where the author is saying you. Do you remember when you were a kid and you used to read those novels that would be like, and you went down a door. Now what decision do you make? That's pretty much the only example I can think of when it comes to second person writing. So instead of saying Frodo and Sam ventured off to Mordor, you would say you have decided to venture off to Mordor. All right, so the next least efficient way of writing that I think this is going to be a huge debate. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of hates in the comments. I'm totally okay with that. Hate away. The next least effective one, I believe, is third person omniscience. I feel like the further you are away from your character, the less engaging your character is going to be to the reader. This particular point of view can see everything. It can see multiple characters. It can bounce between characters' heads. And because of that, it doesn't feel like there is a true one character, one feeling that your reader is constantly zoned into. For me, this creates distance between the character and the reader, and anything that creates distance, I believe, will be less engaging. There are several books that use this point of view that I absolutely adore. Fantasy is huge in this because they often have multiple points of views, and the further away, the more you can see, the more plot you can see. And without a doubt, I absolutely understand the need for this particular point of view. But in my humble opinion, if you are just now starting to write a novel, really dig in to building a connection between your reader and your character. But for the most part, if you are struggling with what point of view to use, this is probably not the point of view for you. The next point of view is going to be your third person limited. This is actually what my current work in progress is, and it's not because it is my favorite way to write. I will get into the why here in a second, but the third person limited point of view is where you are in third person, so you are saying, Harry Potter does this, Harry Potter does that, but you are only right there, right next to Harry Potter. You're not going into Hagrid's mind, you're not going into Dumbledore's mind. You're right here where Harry is, you're seeing what Harry sees, and you're not flitting everywhere else. I find this to be one of the most effective points of views in fiction, and I do that because I feel like there's still a very strong connection between your reader and your character. I also think this is an easy way to have multiple points of views and to keep that connection between the reader and the character. My advice is to always do everything you can to have your reader as connected to your character as possible, and choosing third person limited helps you do this. What helps that connection even more is actually first person. This is my favorite thing to read. This is my favorite way to write. I absolutely love it, and I believe it is the most effective fiction point of view. This is where a book says, I went to Mordor, and I tripped over rocks, and I did everything else. You are actually in the character's mind saying I. You are very close to all of their thoughts and all of their feelings, and every single decision they make, you understand what that decision came from. So you're like, so what are you talking about? That is your favorite way to write, but you write a different way. Why? I have multiple points of views. I have rarely seen multiple points of views done in first person well. So give me a second, let me get to my library, and I will tell you a fantastic book that has two different points of view that is done in first person, and it costs absolutely absolutely zero confusion. Let me see if I can get to the cover and show you this cover, because it is absolutely just so beautiful. And don't judge me for my broken iPad screen. I'm gonna get it fixed one day. Okay. So this is called The Edge of Never. I find it one of the most compelling dual points of view. And I really love the characters. I really love the story. It's a new adult story, and I think it is fantastic. If you are someone that is like me and you're like, I absolutely love first person, but I want to have two characters, this is the book I suggest reading to kind of see and understand how this author did it, and did it in a way that wasn't confusing. So your next question is obviously going to be like, so you've seen it done right, you've seen it done well, so why aren't you doing it? I think in this particular circumstance, this was done well because it was literally two characters. My first book is 5 characters. My next book is going to introduce even more characters. I am going to have so many different points of views that it has the potential to be so confusing for my readers. And while I want to write the way I want to write, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for my readers. So in this particular example, it was a no-brainer to, instead of doing first person, to go into third person limited. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there are so many times that I am hit with the spark, right? I have this idea, I am inspired, I have just, and I sit down and I start writing, and the entire thing is in first person. I have done that unfortunately way too many times, and it is very time consuming to go back and translate it into third person limited. But personally, when I'm in that zone, I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm just gonna do it. When I am feeling struck by lightning and I am feeling inspired, I write. And there are 100 things that you can say to me, and it's not gonna change the fact that I sit down and I just write. And however it comes out is how it comes out. So you could be like, oh my gosh, but that's not the next chapter you had planned. Well, duh. Or, oh my gosh, that's not the right verb tense. Well, duh. Oh my God, that's not even the same point of view you use. Meh. I can fix it while I edit. And yes, my editing is incredibly painful. I'll be the first to admit it. But if I didn't think it was worth it, I wouldn't do it. With that, I'm hoping you got value out of this video. If you did, smash that like button, comment below, and tell me what your point of view in your novel is. I want to know. Also, if this is your first time seeing me, hi, I am Zoe Marley, and I am committed to bringing you 50 videos on tips and techniques to help improve your writing. So check out my channel, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and I hope to see more of you. Thank you.